The idea of an Indian origin leader becoming the next president of the United States is drawing increasingly attention in the Indian American community that grows into the influence across politics, business, and public life. Under the US Constitution, the requirements to become a president are clear. A candidate must be natural born citizen of the United States, at least 35 years old, and a resident of the country for at least 14 years. And this means that an Indian origin man can become president if he was born in the United States or otherwise meets the constitutional requirements of being a natural born citizen. Indian origin Americans have already reached the prominent positions in the US politics. Vice President Kamala Harris has Indian heritage, and lawmakers such as Congressman R.O. Khanna have become the nationally recognized figures. Their rise reflects the growing political participation and the visibility of the Indian American community. And for the Indian origin candidates to become the president, the path would involve several key steps. First, the candidate would need to build a strong political career, often through the local, state, or maybe federal offices. And then the experience. Experience in governance, public policy, and leadership is usually essential for gaining a national recognition. Second, the candidate would need to abort support for a major political party, mostly likely towards the Democratic or the Republican presidential primaries. Winning a party nomination requires building a nationwide campaign, raising funds, and connecting with the voters across the different communities. Third, last but not the least, the candidate would need to present a vision that appeals to a wider range of Americans. Presidential elections are decided by the national issues such as economy, healthcare, foreign policy, jobs, and security. While the cultural backgrounds can be as important as part of the candidate's story, voters ultimately focus on the leaders, policies, and then the ability to unite the United States. The growing Indian American community also plays a major role here. Indian Americans are among the fastest growing immigrant groups in the United States. They have become increasingly active in voting, political nominations, and the public service. Now, in this case, it helps create a network of support for the Indian origin candidates. However, becoming president remains difficult and very challenging for any candidate, regardless of the background. It requires national popularity, strong party backing, an effective campaign, and also the success in electoral college system. And in the end, the possibility of an Indian origin man becoming the next US president is both constitutionally possible and politically plausible. It would depend not only the heritage, but on the leadership, on the public support, and finally, the ability to address the concerns of the American people. As American state becomes the more diverse country, the conversation about who leads the country continues to evolve.